Soon the channel will be live. It is now. So now is when I say, hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels Root, the role playing game.
Yay!
Yay!
That's what we're going to play. And I'm Christiana Ellis, and I am the game master. Our players tonight, Paul Weimer as Arbon Ironwing,
It is fortunate that moles do not fly.
Nobilis as Lancelot Vint,
Hi there. How you doing?
Jason Banks as Clem Sparrow,
Well, hello there, guys. It's been a while.
David Archambault as Nigel Farnboot,
Intrigue and stealth is the name of tonight.
and Lee Burdett as Peppa Pika.
Hello, hello, hello.
Or should I instead introduce all of you as Roger Morwing, Bagpiper Morning, Johnny Quest, Glyne, and Ornata Sissa? Because those are the false names that you gave at the checkpoint to enter Iron Vein, which is currently controlled by the Grand Duchy, the bureaucratic mole empire that is possibly planning an invasion of Sundel. And you have come here hoping to interfere with those plans, at the very least to slow them down, to give Sundel perhaps time enough to figure something out with the Marcus 8. Maybe it's a little bit unclear what happens then, but at the very least, you don't want the Grand Duchy to invade. That seems like a clear-cut goal. So you're working on that. You came into town. You have discovered a couple of things. The Grand Duchy has built a big shaft house over the entrance to their tunnel that they used to invade. They've got soldiers all over the place. They have kicked all of the people who used to use the Longhouse as an inn, tavern, and meeting space. They've kicked all those people out and now use it as their primary sort of headquarters for interacting with the public. You briefly discussed some plans with Johann Everly, the fox who is in charge of running the local iron refinery. You did some paperwork for him, and as a result, you have learned a little bit more about what's going on, and you realized that he has a visit coming from a Grand Duchy official whose report will determine whether Johann gets to stay in charge of this refinery or whether he gets replaced by a duchy official. There's also a number of other developments. The Riverfolk Company in town had been planning to build a trading post, but that has been, stopped by the duchy. There was a local noodle chef who was evicted from the Longhouse, as was a minstrel of your acquaintance named, what was her name? Only just briefly.
Donna.
Yep.
Was it
Donna.
Sparrow.
Dwana. Yeah, no, Donna.
Donna?
D-A-W-N-A.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct. So good notes. Well done. And you also had a friendly family of raccoons who you helped out with your noodle incident heist previously. So they're in town as well. And so as we left things, you were forming a plan to try to investigate and possibly steal some documents from the Longhouse. You had discovered that there is although most entrances are boarded up, the main entrance is still accessible but guarded. But there is a hatch entrance on the roof. And you had a couple of ideas in mind. So with all of that, vagabonds, what would you like to do? It's currently late afternoon.
Well.
The question is, if Peppa and I are going to go fly in. The question is, what time is the best time to do that? Dead at night?
That as soon as it's full dark. Full dark.
Full dark.
Yeah.
So,
And
so I think that,
perhaps,
yeah.
perhaps those of us not with, those of us without wings can go in and pretend to be looking for paperwork or some other thing to get a picture of the internal setup before.
Yeah. So yeah, you do basically the legwork for us by pretending to be denizens and
Or not necessarily denizens, but just people with some kind of business.
Mhm.
so we know so Pep and I will know what to expect.
Well,
Hopefully.
or we can be there to cause a disturbance if we need to distract attention away from you.
Well, would the longhouse even be open at night? Wouldn't
That's a
they
good
close it
question.
down?
Well, maybe not. We haven't been here long enough to determine. The mole kingdom is industrious, so they may have people who burn the midnight oil. I hope not. I'd like to hope they shut it down at night, but they may have people who work a second shift.
Yeah, I
In which
think
case then we'll have
I mean,
I think
problem.
darkness is not a problem for it.
I was
exactly.
just going to say that I think that in your experience with them, they do tend to not treat the day-night cycle in the same way that most above-ground creatures do, and for that matter, the idea of it just being dark outside probably is more of a problem for you than for them.
Hmm.
Which is not to say you shouldn't wait until dark. Certainly, that prevents other people from seeing you, perhaps.
It also avoids collateral damage of the local populace. There'll be less innocents around
Hmm.
to get hurt. And given the noodle incident, we don't want to cause collateral damage again.
Yeah.
Now, we could also see what type of business they do in the longhouse. And maybe that can give us an idea about who goes in, what goes out, and how long that happens.
That's a really good idea. I'm going to head over to the longhouse right now and just like get in line.
Okay.
Anyone
Idea.
else going along?
Yes. Yes, I will join you in that.
I'm not very good with things on the fly, so I'll just stick over here and keep an eye out.
Yeah. I think I am going to take this opportunity, if we're going to do moonlight shenanigans, to take a nap and hopefully remove a point of exhaustion from my tracker.
So here's the thing. You certainly will not, because right now you don't even have a camp. You're just hanging out at a convenient natural landmark where you had previously rendezvoused.
Okay.
To clear a point of exhaustion would require a full night's rest in a reasonably comfortable place. You know?
Okay.
So just sleeping under a tree for a few hours isn't going to do it.
Okay. That actually brings up the question: is do we want to set this up more specifically as a camp, since we're rendezvousing back here?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because we
I
can
think it
take
might
care
be
of that.
useful. Might
I think
be useful to have a secret camp.
I think, given the fact that we don't want to implicate anybody who actually lives here, and B, we're gonna need to sleep sometime. I think that's what I'm going to be doing during our off time. I'm gonna start setting up camp.
And I can
Okay.
help you with that because if they're investigating the lighthouse and we're waiting till night to do our thing, we can build the camp.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think, let's see. I'm trying to, let's see. How, I think that this location, previously established, is not really all the way out of the clearing. It was really just kind of slightly out of sight from the main part of town. but
Okay.
certainly would be within the range that they would search if they were looking for someone.
Okay. So we need to
So
find a better site.
you could make a camp in the forest, which would be
Mhm.
safer from that perspective, but does have a move associated with it. Otherwise, you can set up a camp where you are, but just knowing that you're in a smaller radius.
No, I
I
think
think
setting up in the
further out,
forest
yeah.
would be better.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I believe that, let's see. I'm trying to remember if there's a specific move that is other than travel through the forest. Because travel through the forest, the move implies that you're going all the way from one clearing to another. I think what I'm going to say is you can certainly, you are experienced making camp. Um, I am going to ask you, rather than make the travel move,
Hmm.
I will ask you to make a trust fate roll that can be, one of you make a trust fate roll, and the other can aid if you want.
Okay.
And
You're the luckier one. So I
unless
think-
of course you would, I mean, because yeah, I think that's what makes sense, is that you are not doing the full travel move. You're just hoping that you can go a little ways into the forest, set up camp, and do that.
No,
But
that's fair. That's fair. I'll roll it first.
all right.
yeah.
uh, let's see how we did. 8.
Okay.
Okay, so I can't affect that.
Well, so there are theoretically cases where if people with the right connections could theoretically help +2, but in the meantime, I think all this means is that you have found a spot, but you're going to just need to expend some supplies. Setting up the camp. So I would say between the two of you, I would like 2 boxes of depletion marked.
Okay.
Using some
Carnage.
supplies to set up a camp.
Okay. We're gonna need to travel cross country so I can forage.
Yeah, my inflation's getting high too. So, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, remember too that if you have coin, you can buy
Mhm.
supplies that kind of replenishes that too. And the other thing is, you're taking jobs that'll get you paid, like what you're
Yeah.
doing here, right?
Yeah,
Mhm,
like
mhm.
bagpiper morning.
Right. Okay, so I think then that while Arban and Peppa are making camp, and presumably you are the what is the plan for how you are going to come back, or is the plan that you make the camp and then like how does everyone else know where the camp is, that sort of thing?
Well, once we're done, Arbin or I can go and get the others.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, I expect you would like wait back at the rendezvous point
Yeah,
for us to come
Mhm.
back.
yeah,
They're like, yeah, come to our camp. We have
Okay.
Yeah.
cookies.
All
Yeah.
right. So
helmet cookies.
in the meantime, we have So, Clem? What were you getting up to while they were doing that? Did you go with them to do the camp, or?
Did I see a lot of duchy like like guards or people kind of checking to see who was in line? Because if they don't seem to be in any danger of being seen by the duchy, then I would go with them to help set up the camp. But if there could be if there was need for an overwatch just to make sure that they don't get like hemmed up in a situation they can't talk their way out of, I
Well,
would stay in.
I think the question is like, which way do you go from this rendezvous point, right? Because you've got Arban and Peppa going into the forest. You've got Nigel and Lancelot heading into town.
Okay, so so then I would go and actually head in with them,
Okay.
head into town with them just to make sure that nothing goes super awry.
Sure.
Because
Sure.
I'm not
Okay.
the quickest of talkers.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you are, the three of you, heading into town. You're, trying to be casual, I'm sure, as you walk
Mhm.
through town and, past the various duchy soldiers as well as other just denizens walking the streets. and you're heading towards the longhouse. I think
Mhm.
as you are getting closer to it, Lancelot, you recall previously, earlier in the day, seeing Donna, this sparrow minstrel, trying to
Mhm.
perform on a corner and then getting hassled a little bit by one of the guards. As you all are heading into, towards the longhouse, she has moved to a different location. But as you're coming up, you hear an argument because she is getting hassled again. She is clearly just moved to a different spot, and they think that's not good enough. Um, and I think as you're passing by, uh, my initial assumption is that, like the last time, you're kind of trying to mind your own business for now.
Yeah, that's what we had done before.
Mhm.
And I'm, uh, but I will like pause and just kind of see what I can hear
Mhm.
of the conversation. Is like they, they have a problem that she like doesn't have the appropriate permits, or
Mhm.
just like nobody is allowed on the street like this,
Yeah.
loitering, or what is, give me, I want a few more details about what's going on.
Right. Yeah. So I think what you're able to hear, the argument seems to come down to, we've told you before you're not allowed to do this. And she's saying, that's not fair. What am I supposed to do? You're putting me completely out of work. And she's upset. And I think as you're kind of passing by and trying to listen, you hear
Mhm.
the heartbreaking sound of her little ukulele getting smashed against the ground, and she cries out.
Oh, oh. You're not there, Paul.
For the audio listeners, Paul was making a face and a gesture. But in any case, yeah, I think it certainly the sound is enough that she is down on her knees, cradling her broken, you know, musical instrument and crying. And the guards seem satisfied with that for now and are walking away.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm gonna walk up and kneel down next to her.
She
That
blinks up and just says, "Oh, oh, Lancelot, it is you.
it's not me.
Oh, yeah, I guess
After
so.
after the last time, we're not officially here. Ah,
Yeah, well, I guess so. Oh,
but
she's
this
picking
is,
up the neck has been broken off and the body of it is
mhm,
kind of broken.
yeah. You will recover from this. Ah, but let me suggest. Well, do you have a place to stay?
I, well, I do, but I don't have any. I don't have anything to eat. I mean, I was saying for my supper. You know that.
Uh, okay, I'm going to hand her a coin
Okay.
fish a coin out of my pouch, hand it to her,
Mhm.
say, go get some food,
Okay.
take
Thank
care.
you.
Where are you staying? I'll come back and come looking for you.
She has a house in town.
Okay,
But
I,
she says,
yeah,
I'll just go home. But if things don't change around here, I think I don't know what I'm gonna do because I can't just leave. I've got my daddy, and but
well, let me do a little research. Um,
all right. Well, thank you
see.
for this. You done a lot of good for folks here. I appreciate it.
Well, just take care, and I'll come and talk to you later.
Um, one.
That is if what I'm about to do doesn't get me killed.
Sure. Well, so this actually just reminds me of something that I meant to do right at the start of the session, but forgot, is that I did actually want to assign a little bit of denizen prestige to some folks from last
Okay.
time and then this time too. So Nigel, I think you get 2 prestige from the denizens faction for helping Johan with the paperwork so thoroughly, which is a big deal for him.
Yes, and that puts me at 5 prestige.
Does it put you exactly at 5?
Yes.
Okay, well, so what that means is that you're going to increase your modifier to +1 and then clear the accumulated prestige back to 0. And and Clem, you get +1 or 1 prestige because you helped, but it wasn't like as obvious like a huge favor for Johan. It was kind of more incidental. Likewise, Lancelot, you get 1 in the same way, but you also get another one just now for helping
Okay.
for helping Donna.
Okay.
All right, so now that I just need to try to remember to assign those things when appropriate. So so Donna is very appreciative, and she listens to what you say, and there's a little bit of a competing instinct of feeling like she should maybe hurry back home, but also just she's sad about her ukulele.
You take care. I've got some business to take care of, and I'll see you a bit later.
She nods and heads off.
So, as I meet back up with
Clem and Nigel.
Clem and Nigel, like, all right, I don't want us to appear in a group because, there may be those who remember us from last time, and they certainly are going to remember Capybara. So I'm thinking that if we split up and don't, pretend not to know each other, that might help a little bit as far as the recognition is concerned. We certainly don't want to, we want to maintain the bagpipe morning and things like that. So,
Understood.
consider what you're going to say when you're in line, that kind of thing, and let's see what we can learn. And I'm going to head into the longhouse.
Okay. Yeah. So there's not like a long line of people waiting outside.
Right.
But there is, at the main entrance, which currently has 2 duchy guards standing, alongside it, and they do look to you as you approach and just say, "Good afternoon, sir. May you please state your business here in the with the duchy officials?"
Well, if there isn't anybody right there at the door, I was going to kind of dawdle a little bit and see if somebody else comes through first to hear the kind of thing they say is they're going through.
Okay, well, so if
So-
you want to kind of spy on the entrance without being
Yeah.
the one standing there, that's going to be like that's going to be a roll.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to so it's like one moment and just kind of ruffle through my pack as if I'm searching for papers or something.
Okay. So I think if that's what you're doing, that's fine. I thought you were trying to like sort of like
No.
observe without being spotted or anything.
No.
Okay.
I'm just
Yeah. So I think
I have my papers. Just a minute, and
yeah,
you know.
I think after a few seconds they just say, that's fine, sir. Take all the time you need, but please stand aside.
Oh well. Oh yes, of course, and I'll move to the side and just keep rummaging my pack and but be concentrating on what's going on at the door.
Right. Okay. What about Nigel and Clem? What are you doing?
I figured make sure we're not seem to be seen together. Just kind of, waiting around a corner.
Okay. But I mean, you're just waiting for for Lancelot to do something, or?
Waiting for me to get out of sight so that they can go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. I see. Okay. Clem, are you the same, or?
I do I hear a common thread amongst the people who are trying to get into the loghouse, like what type of business they're all doing to
Well,
get into
that's kind of what Lancelot is trying to find out. There's not like a line of people waiting to get in.
Okay.
People are coming and going kind of at, a given frequency, but there's not a line of people waiting.
So does each person going in and out get checked like Lancelot?
I mean, like you haven't really seen that at all. What you have is the report of Arbon's earlier, which is that people are coming and going, but that was from above and not a lot of detail. So right now you're kind of asking the very question that Lancelot's trying to find out with, standing by the entrance.
Yeah, the way I was trying to see it is if there was other people before Lancelot.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, I think you're all assuming more people or more denizens than is actually there. What this is maybe every few minutes you might have someone go in or come out. This is not a line of people constantly passing through.
Right.
Okay. So then I would probably just hang back with Nigel, and just keep my ear out to see what kind of question they ask. Also, like other people as Lancelot's kind of rummaging for his papers and things. What other things they might
All right.
provide to him.
Actually, if I can see that someone is going towards the longhouse, I'll basically, fall into a reasonable distance behind them. Basically like, oh, you're going to a longhouse too? Okay.
All right.
Like 10 feet back,
Okay.
and like just basically have what looks like a sheet, basically some loose papers that I'm bringing there.
All right. All right. Okay. So I think then that as you watch, then eventually there is another fox who is holding, a leather satchel, kind of nervously passes by. Seems like they're on their way. This is a young woman fox.
Okay.
So you're just kind of going to follow along. So like you're on your way to the longhouse too. She just happens to be ahead of you, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonably easily done. So Clem, are you just waiting behind then? You're with Nigel.
Yeah,
I think
because
if it was going to be much longer, I was going to make you all do a roll for obviously loitering in a place that there's soldiers on every street corner.
yeah, because I'm not gonna try to, I'm trying not to stand out because I'm not good at running away from things. I'm slightly bulky for that. Also, noise.
Well, so the point just being that I think you all sort of intuitively look around you and realize if you just stand on a corner, kind of gradually peeking around and looking at the longhouse every so often, but not obviously doing anything else, that's going to look pretty suspicious to the many soldiers that are around. So I'm not telling you not to do it, but it's going to be a roll.
I'll move, but when I get to a different position that I can still look at and see, or at least hear what's going on with Lancelot, I want to go into my shell and come out with like a little piece of wood and looks like I'm kind of whittling and just kind of biding my time, so to speak.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how long that holds up. But in the meantime, Lancelot, I think you are hanging out there, still sort of fussing with whatever you've got in your bag, and I think the guard there has the body language has made that subtle shift from, this is fine, all perfectly ordinary, to slight annoyance. because you're someone who is being inefficient in his presence, that sort of thing. Not that he is hassling you, but you're getting the sense that you're taking a long time in his opinion. But in the meantime, this young foxwoman that Nigel is following approaches and distracts him, and he asks her, "Good afternoon, madam. May I inquire as your business with the duchy officials?" She says, "Yeah, my husband and I run leather goods. We sell leather goods, and we're told we needed an official license." And he says, yes, you want to speak with the mayor first and discuss the permits that you will need. And then you will also need to speak and obtain your official permit from the banker. So that is, if you have not met him already, hang on, where's my notes? Oh, I'm sorry. I have all of this in my notes, and it's yeah. My apologies, everyone. I had this whole list in my notes, and now I don't see it. But yes, the banker is. You'll just need to get your permit from him. And she's like, "Oh, okay." And so she goes on in. Something about my little notes here where I put all this information in. Oh, excuse me. I read right past it. He does say you'll need to speak with the banker. Her name is Lizzie Kinstute. And so she goes in past you, Lancelot, which means that Nigel is sort of next in line, and says, "Good evening, sir. May I inquire as to your business with the duchy officials?"
Yes, I've been asked to look up some records for recent trade going
Uh-huh.
between Iron Vein and what was the one place that's
The Southwest.
yeah.
So the Clutcher's Creek is the one that would be
Fletcher's Creek, yeah.
the
Yes.
other path out of Iron Vein.
Yeah. So between trade routes between here and Clutcher's Creek.
Asked by whom, might I inquire?
Yeah. I sorry.
No,
I,
that's okay. But it also represents Nigel being put on the spot. If you like, you may make a trick and NPC roll.
oh, yeah, I definitely would like to do a trick.
Oh yeah,
NPC
no, for
roll.
sure. Yeah, that's
That-
what we're doing here. So go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so that was cunning. Okay, that is 8.
Okay, so with trick and NPC roll with 8, I'm sorry, get my what that does is basically they can, instead of just doing what you want, they can choose either they hesitate, they stumble, they overreact. None of those really make sense here exactly. But you do get the impression that this guard is sort of taking mental note of you. Frowning a little bit. Mm-hmm. Well, I suppose if you want to discuss trade, you will have to speak with, of course, the banker.
And would the banker be? Where would the banker be located?
He gestures inside.
Sorry. So then I go, if you will let me, I go inside.
Yeah, he has gestured inside that you
Okay,
should go speak with
okay.
Baker. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I go inside.
All right. Yeah, I think at this point the guard turns to you again, Lancelot, and just says, "Have you found what you are looking for yet, sir?"
I seem to have misplaced it entirely. I'm sure that I can get new copies of the forms that I need to fill out inside. I'm going to make an application as an itinerant entertainer, to improve the morale around Iron Vein. I am sure that there's some kind of official or process for this. And I looks like I'm going to have to just start all over.
All right. Go ahead and make your own trick and NPC roll here.
Okay. Oh, snake eyes.
Oh, dear, yeah.
Oh no.
So I think at this point, what you have this guard immediately is looking at you and just saying, "I'm afraid, sir, that Iron Vein is not currently in the market for itinerant entertainers, and you shall
Oh,
better wait." He's peering down at you. "Have you been through Iron Vein before, sir?"
as I said, I am an itinerant. I'm quite certain that if you had seen me before, you would recognize.
"May I have your name, sir?"
I am Bagpiper Morning. I have lost my bagpipes.
He turns to his partner at the door there and says, "Mr. Morning, if you will remain here with my partner for a moment, I must inquire inside."
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and he goes he goes inside while his partner is suddenly like, "Oh, wait, I have to do something?" "Oh, yes." Yeah, so he is definitely scowling down at you. So in the meantime, Nigel, I think you are you have entered this longhouse. The main structure of the interior is like the architecture of the building has not changed. However, all of the places that used to have just like tables and benches have been like several of them have been removed, and the remaining ones have been clustered much closer together to one end. The place that used to be sort of like the eating area and where the noodle soup shop used to be has been taken over, and like all of the signage taken down, and there seems to be sort of like almost like bank teller windows put up on one end, and there is a sign up there that says banking banking office, trade savings, et cetera, that sort of thing. Along the other end of this long building, you see that there have been like a small sort of like not like a serious barricade, but sort of like in a bank sometimes how you have that like little wooden bench, or in a courtroom like there's the little an area that
Yeah.
is like easily surmountable
Little
to someone
gate.
willing to break the rules, but clearly communicates a "you stay on that side, we're staying on this side" sort of feeling. And you can see that on the other side that they have set up a number of desks, and they have a variety of moles working on a variety of different types of paperwork. The young foxwoman who preceded you in is sitting across from one of these desks with a mole in that area. You can see that the upper level where the all of the bunks are is it. If everyone has seen the interior of a longhouse, like it's not completely separated floors. Like there's a second level that's almost like big shelves that are still mostly open to the main area.
Kind of like
And-
a inside balcony.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
exactly. And so that area looks like it is not currently being used for what it usually would be used for, which is bunks for people staying there. But they have put a lot of stuff up there like they're using it for storage now. So, what do you do as you enter, Nigel?
Um, right. Well, now that I've been thinking about it, it's obvious what I'm going for trade for. It's like, iron moving between
Mhm.
iron and other processed materials moving between Clutcher's Creek and
Sure, sure.
Iron Vein.
I mean that is a reasonable thing to ask for, but yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see how that goes in a moment. I think as you look over to sort of that banking area side where you seem to have been directed, I think as you're heading over in that direction, you hear a little bit of the conversation that Lancelot's having with the guards outside, and one of the guards comes in, immediately heads over to where the other desks are, and begins speaking softly with one of the other moles in there.
Okay. Would we have any idea if there's if the book at the checkpoint would be if okay. Don't know if that's been shared yet or not.
You know, how would
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Okay.
It's been several hours.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's something Nigel's definitely taking note of.
Hmm.
But
do you go and
Going-
get in line at the banking windows?
yes.
Okay. All right. So I think there are a couple of people waiting there. It's inside there, but you are currently in that line. So, Clem, what are you getting up to now? As you've been loitering to some extent, and I think you now see, as the next time you glance over, you see one of the guards not at the entrance anymore, the other one clearly watching over Lancelot.
Well, Lancelot's doing that thing of rocking on his toes and his heels,
Mhm.
smiling,
Yeah.
pretending nothing is wrong.
All right.
That
Um,
that doesn't look very good.
Mm.
So Clem will stop his piddling and come up. Ka-clonk, ka-clonk, ka-clonk.
well, I mean, give me just a moment.
Well, I
Um,
mean, I think Clem.
I'm going
is-
to chat up this guard that's watching me.
Okay.
I must say, good sir, you have an impeccably maintained uniform. Your superiors must be tremendously proud of your diligence in that. Just kind of like polish
Sure,
some metal or
sure.
something, polish some of the brass.
Yeah. Are you imagining this is like a pleasant facade sort of move, or?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm trying to use pleasant facade.
Yes. Okay. So let's
Let's see if this roll goes better than the last one, shall we?
yeah.
Okay, that's a 7 plus 2 is a 9. So.
Okay. So you are sucking up to or otherwise buttering up an unsuspecting NPC, and you got 7.
Though he may be suspecting and may not count
Well,
as this. So
Well, unsuspecting NPC, like he's a little suspicious. I will see. So what did you get?
I got a 9.
A 9.
So
Okay. So on a 7 to 9, you hold 2, and you can spend your hold 1 for 1 to deflect their suspicion or aggression away from you onto someone or something else.
yes,
And so you have that 2 hold now.
right.
As he is looking down and says, as well, you know, I mean, it's important to maintain good standards. It's a lot of discipline. It's good personal hygiene. It's all very important, of course.
Yes, yes, of course, of course. I mean, as someone who doesn't always get to sleep in a nice warm barracks every night, I know how important that is.
So, Clem, I think as you started clunking forward, it seems like Lancelot has begun a conversation. Are you still approaching, or?
I'm gonna hold my position, but not approach any closer,
Okay.
and wait to make sure that the other guard isn't gonna show back up and be like, "Time for put you in irons,"
Okay. Well,
because
so
it goes from the like, leave it to Beaver, like, "Oh, I'm just standing here," then to chatting him up really nicely and
Mhm.
and polishing the outfit. I'm like, sounds like he's trying to butter him up for something.
yeah.
I-
Well, yeah. So what I'm going to say is, I'm not making you make the roll yet, but I need you to try to once again. If someone glances over and sees you standing there, what is it that you're doing?
I have an idea, but
Okay.
I'll have to wait until someone either sees me or says something to me.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think the thing is, there are people around. And so, like, someone walking by is not a big deal, but someone standing around loitering, not, you know, that is, that's another,
Suspicious behavior, yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I will move off to the side so I'm not like in anyone's way, so they don't have to like move around me in my large shell. I'm
Mhm.
also going to make sure that my shell is facing a wall so they cannot see
Mhm,
its
mhm.
recognizable pattern.
Okay. All right. So I think you do not have much longer before your loitering is officially suspicious. But in the meantime, Nigel's in line. Lancelot, I think as you are continuing kind of this, are you keeping it as just sort of a
Yeah,
banal?
yeah, it's just banal,
letting him tell you about what kind of polish he uses. You know. It's like,
oh
"Oh,
yes, it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. I'm definitely going to have to find some of that as soon as I have something shiny to polish.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I think as all of that's happening, though, the other guard does come out and says, Mr. Morning, I wonder if you might come with me. We have some questions to ask you. The marshal would like to speak with you inside.
Oh, I see. Um, yeah, I think I'm going to go with him.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with him.
All right. Uh,
Resistance is futile.
well, yeah.
No, well,
Maybe.
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
decisions-
yeah, Clem. So, as you watch, the other guard has come back out, has spoken to Lancelot with a somewhat stiff body language, and then Lancelot has just followed him inside with the one remaining guard now outside by himself.
So as they turn to go inside, Clem is going to come from his positioning and be like, wait, what's oh buddy, and he's going to fall onto his back. And you just hear a loud cacophony of clattering and metal sounds, and you're, oh boy.
Oh yeah, so like the whole crash, and then you hear the whole like a hubcap rattling. Wong, 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 wong. Yeah,
Hubcap that's full of nuts and bolts.
yeah. And so this is, I'm sure, this is a trick in NPC with the to try to
Absolutely.
distract this this remaining guard, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or to be fair, both of them. So that way,
Well,
in the noise, Lancelot may have the opportunity to
Flip away.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you're going to try to do it before Lancelot goes inside with the other guard. Okay.
When
Yeah.
he comes out with the stiff body position and kind of the this is official business look.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I think then let's go ahead and see that roll with cunning.
And I will be available to aid if the need arises.
Mm.
Mike, because I'm not cunning. Oh no, I'm actually pretty good at cunning. It's charm I'm not good with.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's see. That is 12.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think the cacophony of sound that emerges from your shell when you fall down is just so startling that just like everyone in the vicinity is like, geez, what was that? And, so the two guards that are right there are just like, oh, good Lord. And
I will immediately dash away.
oh, you're just going to just,
Just to hoof it. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, let's get a trust fate roll for that, I think.
Okay. All right. That's plus luck.
Yep,
Okay.
that's correct. If you had
There we go.
sneak, that would be also a roguish feat, but
Yeah. Well,
I'm just so we know how the rules work.
7 plus 2 is 9.
Okay, yeah. So with a 9, I think then I am just going to have you mark exhaustion for your hasty
Fair
sprint.
enough.
Just pew.
There's just a cloud of dust, a few hairpins, and
Yeah.
some lines up the side.
Yeah. I'm thinking cue Benny Hill music.
No, that would be if I had not made the roll and they
Yeah.
were chasing me.
Right. Yeah. So I think
This
that,
is Roadrunner music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is just it's absolutely we're close up on the guards as they're rushing over to help Clem, and then as the camera pans back, there's just the fox-shaped cloud of dust where Lancelot was standing. Yeah. So are you running back to like the rendezvous point, Lancelot?
Yeah, I think I've gone as far as I can.
Okay. Yeah. So, and in the meantime, Clem, yeah, they have bought this entirely. That they are just like, are you okay, sir? I mean, are you injured? How can we help you? And they're just.
And Clem's like, oh, bother. This is what I get for trying to take an extra long break from work. Oh, it's me.
So I imagine that with all of this, you are part of this trick involves interfering with their attempts to help you without it being obvious that that's what you're doing, right?
Yes,
You're just
'cause
making
I'm
it
trying
extra
to-
difficult.
Yeah, because I'm trying to roll myself over.
Yeah, and you're kind
And
of
they're
doing
like-
it like deliberately in
Opposite
a
of
way
their-
to counter how they're trying to help. Yeah.
Yes.
One of them reaches for him and then has to duck a swinging arm.
I think that your act is good enough that like I think some of the nearby denizens are also like concerned and are sort of hovering, and eventually they are. I assume you do eventually let them help you up, and you're able to see that Lancelot has escaped.
And Clem is like, oh, thank you for the help, but I need to get back down to the smith. It wasn't smithy. It was
refinery.
Refinery. To the refinery. I'm helping improve the refinery for the inspection coming up, but it's been such hard work. I'm just kind of overworked. I didn't think it would be this big of a project.
Yes, well, of course, hard work is important, but you must take care of yourself as well, and otherwise you run the risk of causing a public disturbance. And then the one guard is looking around, is like, oh.
And Clem goes, well, I would have never thought you guys from the duchy would be so kind. It's probably not bad you guys are here now. Thank you so much.
Boy, if you didn't get a 12, I think some of that would start pushing your luck. But no, they are totally into it. It's like, oh yes, well, it's often true that when we first arrive in a clearing, there's an apprehension of the local denizens. It's understandable entirely, but we are really here to help. And all of that sort of yeah. So I would imagine you eventually let them see you on your way, and
Yeah, I will head towards the refinery, but once I'm out of their eyesight, I will head back towards the
Yeah.
rendezvous.
gotcha. Okay, so I think Nigel, you are in line, and you're almost up to the front when you just hear this alarming crash from outside.
And just an eyebrow goes up
Yep.
and then goes back down.
All right, so you are eventually at the front of the line, and there is a middle-aged woman mole wearing a monocle on which I think we can imagine the tiny squinty eyes of the moles, but one of them just made huge from the monocle as she looks up at you to and you can see that there's a little name placard that says Elizabeth Kenstote, Grand Duchy Banker. And she looks up at you and says, yes, how may I help you?
Yes, I need to. I've been sent by. And I make up a name of somebody involved with trade in Clutcher's Creek.
Okay, well, I think this is going to need to be another trick and NPC roll.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
this is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
10.
10. There you go. Yeah, out of 10, they buy it, and they just say, well, yes, we are quite interested in trade with Clutcher's Creek, as you might imagine. The Riverfolk Company thinks they have that all locked up, but, we are always looking for ways to incorporate trade into the new regime we are establishing here. So, yeah, so you're requesting just like what? Like documents showing the trade history or something? Like, what are you actually asking for here? Well, okay, here's the other thing. It's one thing to say, what are you asking for as the ruse? What are you really trying to do?
Well, trade lines, I feel like military lines would kind of follow trade lines, or there'd be some relation.
Maybe.
Like
May
you
I make a
have to
suggestion?
supply us military. So if I can get a view of the duchy's trade lines, that could
Yeah, I
give
mean,
an idea of
we can
Looking for looking for weaknesses.
yeah. Yeah, well, certainly we could hook you up with your review the documents move again, right? That's certainly
Yeah.
one way we could go. But like I guess it's just if you're going to request the documents that are part of your cover here, that's going to be the documents you get to look at, and any secrets you discover will be related to that.
well, I mean, there's also the oddity with the that uncovered with the refinery inspection that
Well, but my point is that the
I know.
documents
I'm
that
saying like it might
okay,
it
right, but what I'm telling you is you're not getting to look at all of their documents. You're requesting
Oh, yeah.
specific ones. So anything
Yeah.
you learn will be related to that.
Yeah.
This is my point.
and I might be able to get an idea of how things are organized in the Longhouse, in their records in the building, maybe.
I mean, yeah, maybe. But we'll see how the roll goes.
Okay.
So how's
Yeah.
your let's see your trick and NPC roll. Oh no, I guess you did. You got a 10 for that
Yeah, I
already.
got a
So
10.
yeah,
So-
so you have requested, documents of like current status of trade and trade contracts between
Yeah.
Iron Vein and Clutcher's Creek. And so yes, well, we are most happy to encourage new trade outside the auspices of the Riverfolk Company. So please take a look. You may sit on one of the benches over there, and we will bring you the most recent letters on the subject.
Okay.
You will forgive us, of course, that some of the documents are in disarray compared to how we intend to manage them in the future, but we are, of course, in a transitional period here in Ironvane.
Understood. I am experienced with disorganized paperwork.
All right. So you would like to review those documents as well, I would guess?
Yeah.
Okay, so you do see that they have a number of they have got what are essentially filing cabinets, but they're like wooden. They seem to be pretty. They're not like big, heavy, sturdy, fancy ones. They seem to have been. You don't recognize them, so they probably brought them through the tunnel. But they do have some filing cabinets that are kind of, behind. You're speaking to her through this teller's window sort of thing, and she's
Yeah.
got them back on the other side there. And so as you are given some of those documents, there's not a lot that you're given right up front, but when you, sorry, I'm trying to get to where I can look at your review the documents move. But go ahead and make your roll.
I mean, search the records.
Search the records, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, double sixes.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so and the chronicler. So search the records, and so on a 10 plus, you also take a 12 plus instead of rolling the next time you try to figure out. I think the appropriate NPC in this case would be this banker lady. And so she's giving you the documents. And so the next time you would try to use that figure someone out move, you can essentially take a 12 plus as your roll there. Because you're reviewing the documents that she's assembling and what she has given you based on the question you asked. And so I would let you, if you wanted to sort of discuss those documents with her, I'd let you kind of make that move. The evidence of their secrets in this context does seem to be focused on specifically the ways that they are trying to undercut the Riverfolk Company. And try to prevent them from establishing any kind of, not only prevent them from establishing a monopoly, but to try to really just like edge them out of the market altogether if possible. Now, the Riverfolk Company has a lot of sort of trade power, and they've got sort of a foothold here in Ironvane, and certainly elsewhere, especially in Clutcher's Creek. But so what you're seeing are some of the ways that they are hoping to undermine that. And so you know that the Riverfolk Company would absolutely like to know that information so that they could, avoid it.
Okay. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. So in the meantime, though, would you want to also try to figure someone out on this banker mole?
Yes.
Worth a try.
Yeah. So essentially, what it would mean is that you kind of by default are going to get to ask 3 of those questions there. Now, your move is a little different. So instead of it being during a conversation with her, it is on the basis of understanding her through the way she does her paperwork, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
So if the questions that are by default here in the move are, is your character telling the truth? What is your character really feeling? What does your character intend to do? What does your character wish I would do? How could I get your character to blank? So you can ask 3 of those.
Yeah. Yeah, just
I mean, if you think of some
Yeah.
later, we can do that. That's fine.
Well,
Because
my
you're-
thought is like, because records are, records are kind of the duchy's lifeline. It feels like
yeah.
I maybe
What
getting
would it be a stretch of the rules to use one of the questions to say, how could I get your character to look bad or to fail or to
Oh no, I don't think so, because I mean, how could I get your character to blank is kind of open ended, right?
okay.
well what I was thinking is where the nighttime thing is like they're gonna try and sneak in and get a sneak in through the roof and
Oh,
get
okay,
evidence and maybe
but what
because
your
I
but what your move gives you is an insight into
okay.
the inner life of this character, not where do
Okay.
you keep your keys, right? It's
Okay.
like
Well,
that.
I was saying more how it's organized at the
No,
moment.
but that's not what
Okay.
your move is
Okay.
gives you. Like you got
Okay.
the information. The bonus that you get is an insight into who she is as a person. And
Yeah.
so those are the questions you can ask, not just whatever question you might think of.
Okay.
They're character questions, not logistical ones.
I does it look like this information is actually true? Like, or is that
Yeah, you believe that the information that like you're seeing here in terms of understanding what it is that the duchy is hoping to accomplish economically here in Iron Vein, you believe that that is legitimate information. It is what they actually want, and in particular, yeah, that their desire to eliminate the Riverfolk Company's presence in Iron Vein is sort of foremost on at least this banker mole's mind.
okay? I um actually how could is there a way to get them to not be not be around at the right time so that there's maybe some
Oh, well, so something like, how could I get your character to leave work for the evening or something like that?
yeah
Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh, you see, my first thought is kind of fun, but I don't know that if it like, um, I think that she is interested in people who are interested in the things she's interested in, if that makes sense.
hmm,
And so I think that if you were to suggest that you would like to learn more about, you know, what her work is for the duchy and all of that sort of thing in a social setting, you think that she might be interested in that. And so you think it would require you to accompany her elsewhere to talk more about this stuff.
Hmm.
But it would get her to leave the longhouse.
okay. Okay. And so that's
Yeah, so you have successfully fooled her into believing that you're really here to perhaps help her with what she's hoping to accomplish here in Iron Vein. So,
okay. And so um man.
I mean, you can ask the questions later if you think of them. We don't.
Yeah,
we don't
I think I'll leave the last one for later.
Yeah, that's fine. Especially, I don't know if you're planning to actually essentially ask her out to dinner or not, but yeah. But yeah, so that is your impression, is that she is likely to work all evening and into the night unless she has reason to be elsewhere. But
Okay.
yeah, so in the meantime, though, Clem and Lancelot have hightailed it back to the rendezvous point.
Mhm.
So Nigel, what is your plan here for right now? You've looked at the documents, you've gained some level of insight. Um, you have at least one way that you might be able to get her out of the way, although that doesn't mean that there would be no one in the longhouse. So
Yeah.
Just one of the people with the most authority there.
I I think I will. I think I'm just gonna like, thank her and
Okay.
I will take my leave.
All right. Well, we will of course be in town for some time. So if you wish to come back and review more documents, I will be here as well.
Thank you very much.
All right. So do you head back to the rendezvous point as well?
I
I mean, if what are you doing?
yeah, I think I will
Okay.
head back.
All right.
I
So.
was thinking about maybe like, oh, heading to the docks, but nah, not right away.
All right. So I think all of you are back together. There is now an established camp out in the woods. You've learned some things about the longhouse and its operations and all of that. So I think you're getting into early evening now. The sun is not quite down yet, but it's getting there.
Okay. Well, let's I make sure that I'm not being followed and head out to the rendezvous point and then to the and then I think it's a good thing to get out of sight and discuss what we've, various things we've learned, share information. And this thing
Come up
about the
with a
river
plan.
folk has definitely got me interested in seeing if we can enlist their help in
Yeah.
in
I
doing
mean,
something about this.
Yeah, you haven't really talked to any of them yet.
So so that's something that after we maybe have something to eat and all that, I don't think I'm going to be very much help with the flying thing. So I might go down and see if I can find some river folk to talk to.
Unless it's yeah, I mean you could certainly do that. I was going to say there's always room for a diversion crew in
Yeah,
the
well,
D&D, but
we do have other people entirely capable of making noise.
yeah, it's true.
And Lancelot says riverfolk. Clem just looks at him.
They're a potential ally here. Now, maybe you don't want to go down and talk to them, but
I would it be
there's
possible?
nothing
for-
wrong with putting two enemies against each other.
Could I basically have a summary of the information I found that I could
I mean, you can explain to them what you found. I mean, I what do you mean?
well,
Right,
I
but
think
what is-
something
Oh,
like if I
yeah.
said to
Yeah, I mean, I think that that the level of detail you saw is not easy to just like write it down thoroughly. They would
Okay.
likely have follow-up questions and stuff like that. I mean, you could write down the highlights of it, but
Okay,
you
so-
imagine
so-
that they would likely want to talk to you about it to make
Okay.
full use of the information.
So Nigel, how about you and I go and talk to them to the river folk?
Right. So, like, just for example, they, like I said, the secrets you've discovered, who would be willing to pay you for it? The Riverfolk Company would be able to pay you for it, but like the high level summary is something that might attract their interest, but they would pay you for the in depth.
yeah,
And
okay.
so that would require kind of a longer conversation, but a small summary written might pique their interest, get them to open their pocketbook.
An
so to speak.
abstract.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
really
definitely.
set? Are you guys really set on talking to the riverfolk?
Sure, why not? Why not?
That-
Seriously, why not?
It's kind of a long story.
Okay. Sum up. You don't want the Riverfolk Company to be successful, right?
I just don't need them to be able to find me,
Okay, we won't get you involved. No big deal.
but it would be easier to do what we need to do. If I was with you,
But you're afraid of being smoked out by the Riverfolk Company and them moving against you. Let's put this at a fine point, Clem. How much trouble are you in with the danger are you with the Riverfolk? If they spot you, what happens?
well, hopefully, they haven't gone to the extreme to find me.
Suppose they did, what would happen?
Um, if they use their influence and money, there could be mercenaries and bandits and all sorts of things looking for me, and many bounty posters after me. But I hope
Okay,
not
so
the
so,
case.
so, so they would if they knew you were here, they would seriously move against you. That's what you're telling us.
Yes,
Okay.
but it's not. To be fair, it wouldn't be in a violent way, at least.
You know, it's like me and General Tybalt. If we're in the same space, that's bad news.
Right. So we don't get you involved in that. That's
Right.
fine.
That's fine.
You stay out of sight of the danger.
Well,
Right.
it was going to-
All we're doing is going to sell some information and maybe see about enlisting their help in knocking the duchy down a peg or two. And if the river folk and the duchy end up in a kind of in their own conflict over this clearing, then that will definitely slow things down for
But their designs
Sundale.
east. Yes.
For Sundale. I was going to say Sunnydale, but we don't need a helmet.
Yeah, don't curse us like that, please.
going to say that if we have such high stakes information, if I know who the captains of the ships of the Riverfolk Company are, then I might be able to bargain that information along with some coin and them to just turn an eye to me being here. But it would get you quickly to the captain as long as I was with you, especially if you told them that you all acquired me.
Oh, I see. what you mean.
You're willing to
So,
play a Judas
so
goat.
right. Well,
That's risky, but I see your
I
point.
mean,
That's risky.
I can, if you really want to do that, we can, but I don't see that at this point. I don't see that we need to. I don't think it's worthwhile
My
at this
thing-
point. But you know, if you want to,
it's just
it's a backup plan. It's a good backup plan.
if you want to try to play the Riverfolk against the Duchy,
Oh yeah,
you
oh
want,
yeah. That's absolutely what I have in mind.
you want to bring as much to bear as possible. Because honestly, it doesn't matter if the Riverfolk Company are trading with the Duchy, or if they're trading with the Marquisate, or if they're trading with a free Iron Vein. Money is money. You see, that's the best part about what the Riverfolk are doing.
Well, let's at
Could-
least just talk to them and scout things out.
Could we do that the other way? If they won't agree, then maybe you can say, well, we heard through various grapevines that you were on the lookout for a turtle with this particular shell pattern, and we think that he's been brought in by the Grand Duchy to help with this smelter refinery thing.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And
Especially since you've been
link
seeing
you not with us, but link you with the Grand Duchy.
that. Right.
And get them
and
to move
so
against
that-
the duchy.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be an alternate
Or-
alternate way to spin it.
Hit
I
both,
like that.
hit both
I like that.
streams. So they're both
Mhm.
pointing their weapons at each other
Mm-hmm.
at the same
mhm.
time. Weaken
Oh,
both
oh.
enemies is to the
Oh,
benefit of the denizens.
I don't think a certain person would come with them in the search for me. But if you hear the name Morgana LeBlanc, do not go with this plan. She is no one we wish to deal with or come across her influence.
Okay. Noted. Literally.
And what type of activities that individual is known for?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I've not seen anyone talk back to her, including my parents, her parents, the Riverboat Council themselves, and she frightens me.
Okay, well, that's information we can find out if we go and see it, have a look around.
Very good information to have.
Now, to the business tonight, what are Pepper and I specifically looking for, trying to destroy? Nigel, you have the best knowledge of what we should be targeting. So what are we targeting?
Oh,
I
I
think-
I definitely give a description of how the longhouse has changed. The upper balcony where the bunks were appears to be mostly storage.
Okay.
There are what I saw for records were a series of file cabinets, wooden file cabinets, but that was behind the banking area. I imagine there's probably more that are for other records.
Are the different areas labeled in any way? Like it's easy to tell which one's the banker, which one is the magistrate, which one is like the land, what have you.
The smelter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seemed like the stuff that was primarily economic was all kind of over in that banking section, whereas just about everything else was in the other half, like permits and
appears
other
like-
sorts of things.
It appears like it is separated into money and everything else.
Well, it's good to see that their priorities are easily understood. Because I think that we should look in both sides if we have that opportunity, and see what we can find.
Yes, and I was told that the records are not exactly organized.
Well, maybe
that
I
could-
can help with that.
That can help cover any interaction you have with them, but it might also make it harder for you to find what you need.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what?
Shall we
Hmm?
go visit some boats?
Long as I'll stay outside and do Overwatch, because I don't think I would be very good in running away at speed.
So
Perhaps find something more easy to do than making the noise you made earlier.
Making noise is rather easy for me, sadly.
Subtle.
Yeah, but it saved it saved Lancelot's life potentially. So, or saved us for having to do a jailbreak. So
Yeah.
it was effective.
Yeah.
Yes.
How are the plans? Are you still working on the plans for improving the bellows system for the smelter?
Well, I need to make molds, and that will take some time, but I have an idea of how to improve them. Although,
Okay.
after our conversation last time, it just depends on how much we want to assist. Because technically, if we assist and the duchy doesn't remove him, then it's pretty good. But if we assist and the duchy takes over, then we've assisted the duchy.
This is true.
Fine lines.
My plans can be replicated with time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So here's the question. Certainly, the folks going down to talk to the Riverfolk Company can do so really at any time, right? What is the the planned timing for Arban and Peppa with the Longhouse?
Um,
Certainly, after dark makes it less likely that you would be spotted in the sky, but certainly sneaking into the building, like you can take a look. I think it's reasonable that you would all think it's likely that there's going to be a lot fewer denizens coming and going into the Longhouse after dark. Even if some of the moles might keep working, it's not necessarily going to be as busy. There might be fewer
Right.
moles inside because there's not as many
Right.
people
Not as
coming and
many
going.
customers, yes.
yeah. So my thought is really like the small hours of the morning,
Okay.
like so that if someone is still there, they're not really awake because it's been a long, silent night,
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Well,
we
and
get some
we have
sleep.
that
Yeah.
we have that opportunity to.
Yeah, we
Well,
take
I
a
mean,
watch and sleep and then we
if
go.
that's the case, then there's really no need to divide the party. You could have everybody go to talk to the Riverfolk Company, or however you want to do that. I'm just saying you don't need to split up for that.
Yeah.
Right, but at the same time, you know, what what I'm generally like worried about is that our band is a little more noticeable the more numerous we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm a little,
Yeah.
you know,
So what I will say is,
and
as
also,
as the GM, I will balance that against my desire to have you not split up unnecessarily.
oh, okay, all right. Well, let me. Okay. As a meta concern, I completely understand.
Mm-hmm.
As a player,
Mm-hmm.
it because of the way the system works,
Mm-hmm.
there's not a huge advantage to having more and more people around.
Well, yes and no. Like,
Helping
your
roles.
encounter with the soldiers might have been different if Clem hadn't been.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
definitely agree, and I had a contingency plan for that.
Well, sure, but my point just being that like it does still make a difference when you have more people around versus less. I mean,
Okay, all right.
Okay, so I
It's
guess
just
we're going to the river company.
all right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
you don't have to all go. I'm just trying to encourage you
Yeah,
to not split
we
up.
also want to
just
make it easier.
for,
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
we're overthinking the splitting and
Well,
sneaking.
not
Okay.
necessarily. I guess what I don't want is for you to only split up because you think I'm going to punish you for having you all travel together. What I'll say is, don't.
It wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't even really thinking that so much. Just is
Mhm.
that Lancelot would be thinking in those terms.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess I'm not trying to tell you not to consider those things. I'm just trying to say, on a meta level, as
Don't worry
as
about
the
it so much.
GM to the players, I would say, my preference generally is that it's easier for me when you stay together. Which
All right, fine. Then let's all go to the river. Why? But Clem, are you still okay with heading there?
All right. I feel like it could be a lot. It could be,
Because if we're gonna
Clem
play
and
we
Peppa stay
found this.
outside on Overwatch, and
Well,
Right, 'cause-
and so I think Clem, you know that I think you know that this is somewhat like what we talked about when you were approaching the Grand Duchy checkpoint. Is that this is the Riverfolk Company is a large enough organization that it's not going to be every single person who will recognize you on
Yeah.
site and all of that,
Yeah,
right?
our notoriety isn't that high yet.
Yeah, and so and so you, I think, you had previously asked if you recognized any of the ships, and I said you were too far away. So if you got closer, I could tell you a bit
Yeah.
more about whether you thought it was, if you recognized anyone or anything like that. So I'll leave it
Yeah.
to you, but you can make that call with more information if you go closer or however you want to handle it.
Well, we still need to get a little closer. I've not seen what ships they are. If I don't recognize them, then potentially my influence will be negligible at best. But if I recognize them, then I'll have a higher chance of being more effective when it comes to the bargaining. Although, honestly, depending on who it is, my being there may also mean you have to give me up.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not happening. All right. So let's go have a look and just get some information, and then we'll act based on what we learn.
All right.
So let's circle around. We're not going down like straight through the middle of town because I don't want to find those two guards again.
Mhm.
Take a somewhat roundabout route. Look like we are headed someplace that we belong,
Mhm.
and head over toward the river.
Okay.
And perhaps, walk a little with a little bit of separation.
Mhm. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to go talk to Donna? I'm assuming that you told us all
Oh,
about the sparrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think we want to talk. If we can stop off at Donna's house on our way to the Riverfolk, that would be a good thing to do.
Mhm.
We'll stop off there. And just you know, uh,
Mhm. Yeah. So, just a minute. And she comes to the door and, oh wow, it's the whole lot of you, isn't it? Come, well,
well, we happened to be passing by, and my friends here decided that they wanted to come along. Let's head inside.
come on in. And I think you go in. It's a pretty modest little house. You can see on the kitchen table there has been an attempt to repair the ukulele. It's not going well.
No.
Um,
Oh, Clem, maybe you can do something about that. Now it looks like things are in pretty bad shape, but you've pulled off from some mighty amazing things in the past.
Sure, I can take a crack at it.
so you have a repair move, Clem. That is, when you repair destroyed personal equipment with your toolbox, I will set one condition as per the toolbox move. And so I think actually that I'm going to only require you to mark depletion to get some little braces. But I think that the esoteric hand tools that you have aplenty in your toolkit happen to include some that tools that are more or less optimal for repair. It won't be quite what it was, but it will be playable again. If you're willing to mark depletion.
Sure thing. Well, I don't think I can make it perfect, but I can definitely get it playable again. Just hold on. Again,
Yeah.
creepily, arms and head go inside shell.
Yeah, so I think it'll probably take some time, a little bit of time as well, but not like
Yeah.
a lot. Just more than a few
So-
minutes.
While the sounds of hammering and banging and sawing are coming from inside of Clem's shell,
Yeah. And one or
uh,
two explosions. And a very hollow, I'm okay.
Oh, I could just imagine the sound package from a video game.
Mhm.
Like you trigger the repair move. Bang bang.
Yeah.
Guys, remember, if you guys can remember, anytime you play The Sims and you have to fix something and then a cloud appears and like there's hands and arms coming out of it.
Yeah. All right. So, in any case, while that's kind of in progress, so what I'll say is, I think you mostly knew her from she performed regularly at
Right.
the Longhouse, and that was basically how she earned her living. And she,
Yeah.
so I think you probably might have also known that she has her father that she takes care of as well. He is
Yeah.
he was injured in a mining accident and can't work.
Right.
And so but otherwise he's relatively together. But I think he had like a badly set broken leg or something like that.
So I'm sure that it comes as no surprise that we are here to make trouble for the duchy,
Well,
the duchy, whatever that is.
Hmm.
Those people, the moles.
Hmm.
We're getting the lay of the land, finding out where things stand with people, and that kind of thing. We're trying not to get any of the locals involved too deeply because we don't want reprisals and things to happen to people. But any information you can give us about what's going on here, about of who we might talk to or who might have a grudge against them that we might be able to uh, um, get some help from would be useful information for us.
Well, I mean, I'm certainly, in favor of causing them trouble so long as it doesn't get us into trouble. I mean, we still live here, but
Completely understood.
Mm-hmm.
have you talked to Penton? Penton was the chef at the noodle place. They kicked him out too. I think he's trying to make a go of it selling soups out of his house, but it's not obviously in such a convenient location as the Longhouse, and doesn't
Right.
have his whole kitchen there. And I think I heard him say that they were holding on to some of his supplies too.
Oh,
Hmm.
that's
Uh,
interesting.
but
Are they
but
are they even, making motions about building a replacement for the Longhouse?
Oh,
Well,
That's
they say that they got all sorts of plans. They're like going to put up a big market and like a citadel or something, whatever that is. But like I don't know when that happens, or for that matter, though. I mean, I guess they just don't like my ukulele or whatever because they keep just telling me I can't play anywhere. Like they say, got to have a permit, but then they say can't get a permit. So what am I supposed to
yeah.
yeah,
do?
that sounds about right. Or that you need in order to get a permit, you have to have this form, and in order to have this form, you have to talk to this person. In order to talk to that person, you have to go to like across the town. You to go there, and they say no, they're only open on Wednesdays, and you come back on Wednesday, and they say no, actually you missed them. They were here yesterday, and I know how that is.
And I tried to follow that whole little maze they were setting out in front of me, but to my impression was that they just mostly wanted me to not get a permit.
Yep. That's how
Mhm.
bureaucracy works.
Yeah.
And then and then if you don't have the coin to grease the palms along the way, then nothing happens. We've seen this before. Um, so all right, well, we definitely want to have to talk to Penton.
Mm-hmm.
um
She says, well, and I think I don't know if you heard, but Connor Kester he's the Riverfolk captain who is here in town to build a trading post, and they told him he couldn't do that. And so I think he's just back down at the docks, probably nursing some hurt feelings, and uh,
Yeah.
trying to figure out how he can get that back on track if he can.
we were actually on our way to talk to him. Uh you wouldn't happen to know if someone by the name of Morgana LeBlanc was in town?
She kind of thinks about. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know all of those
She's
river
a
company folk, but I haven't heard the name before.
Right. Well, just it's someone we've been having our eye out for. All right. Well, that's useful information. Thank you very much. That will hopefully get us towards our goal. Anyone else have anything they want to ask this fine young lady?
Mm. Just thinking about alternate revenue streams. Have you thought about teaching music?
Hmm.
Well,
As an alternative to playing music, you would be a teacher, which is, uh, in the eyes of certain people like these great big jerks that just ran into town, that's of a higher caliber. So now you're not teaching, you're not just a minstrel, you're not just a player, you're a teacher.
Yep,
And that
and you know,
adds clout to that adds clout and prestige because now they have a musical education school in town and they can puff that up.
well, at the very least, it's something that can happen in the privacy of people's homes, and you're not out where the guards can see you. You know.
Yeah.
well,
Talk to some of the more well-established people in town, and see
If
if
their kids want to get a musical education.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, someone taught you. So,
well, I never really thought about that. I don't really know how to start, but I guess I could ask people around.
Hmm.
Clem,
it's
Clem,
better
comes,
than getting beaten up by the guards.
Clem comes out of the shell with the ukulele. Well, there might be some other entertainers and musicians around that were turned down too. You guys could get together, and the more teachers, the more students. The more students, the bigger the facility, and you get more renown for what you're
Well,
teaching.
you don't want to be too visible, or else the dookie comes around and wants a permit. No, this is something you definitely want to handle under the table. This
Well,
is
you know, they,
trust me, Clem.
they
They
could
don't want to. They don't want to open up a school only to have the dookie come in and start making trouble again.
I haven't seen any young members of the duchy around, but eventually, if they're not removed, I'm sure they'll have young ones around, and they'd be interested in
Well,
learning.
we're looking at the immediate future. I mean, she's got to have food for the table, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Well,
that's
it's
it's
not.
an option.
I mean, it's definitely something to consider. I was worried I was just going to have to wait till they get that market up and try to, I don't know, get job running a stall or something.
Yeah, this
Oh.
might be this might be
something to tide you over.
yeah. And then you can have a little bit of startup coin of what would you sell in that stall, that kind of thing.
Well, and then she kind of looks and sees that Clem has repaired the ukulele, and she's just like, oh. She kind of strums it a couple of times. Says, oh, thank you, Clem. I was heartbroken. I think I might just have to, as you're all kind of suggesting, and keep this as kind of an inside instrument as opposed to playing on the street. I don't think I could take that again, but thank you so much. And I think you can get a point of prestige for denizens there, Clem, for that.
Yeah.
That puts me at 5.
Haha, there you go. Well,
Bing, cha-ching.
so
Yay.
with 5, you can reset that to 0 and adjust your modifier upward. But yeah, and if you think of anything that I can do to help y'all out at some point, let me know. I would love to help you however I can.
We'll keep that in mind. But after the noodle incident, they do kind of keep an eye out for us a little bit.
Well,
Never.
they sent that mayor back right down the tunnel, and I think that they're not going to forget that anytime soon.
Mm,
Well,
yeah.
with any luck, other people will remember as well.
Hmm.
So I don't want to take any more of your precious time. Good luck with finding alternate employment. And we shall be seeing you again, I hope.
Well, I'll be around.
So we will depart and head down towards the river.
All right. So as you are heading down, I think you are certainly noting that there are a lot fewer of the Iron Vein denizens around.
Mhm.
There are somewhat fewer soldiers on the corners, but there's still some, and they don't seem terribly hampered by the darkness.
Right, right.
So you
Mhm.
definitely get the sense that no one's interfering with you since you seem to be on your way somewhere. But
Oh, are there like basically like street lamps like
no,
or of any kind?
I mean there's like torches on the individual buildings, but not in any kind of
Okay.
an
Yeah.
organized, systematic way.
Okay.
There are lights down at the docks, though. You can sort of see those, on
Yeah.
the way down the hill.
Okay.
Yeah. I think as you get closer to the docks, hey Clem, how about you go ahead and roll a trust fate roll for me?
Big bucks, no whammies.
Oh, probably can't assist on a trust fate.
Well, I'm not. Mostly, what we're doing here is
I know.
answering a question, right?
Yeah.
So you're rolling with luck.
That's a 3.
A 3.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh god, we're dangerous.
Yeah. So I think all of you, as you're approaching, see that there are a number of small ships that are kind of tied up to the docks, and that there's a smallish there is a small office sort of space that looks like it's been set up as kind of a makeshift impromptu tavern for folks that are not going to let the closing of the real tavern stop them.
Mhm. Mhm.
So there's some of that going on, and then a few ships set up going around. But you do see that one of the smaller ships does have a certain sort of crest on it. Do you want to describe the crest of the one that you would have preferred not be there?
So it is a flower of some kind. Like it's the outline of a flower,
Mhm.
but behind it is a wave, almost if it was kind of cresting over the flower.
Mhm.
And then dead center is an eye, like of the whole thing. So it's like an eye, an all-seeing eye in the midst of this almost like beach scene or
Mhm.
like river scene.
Yeah.
And if a turtle could turn pale,
Yeah.
What about a nice pretty pink lotus?
Yeah.
yes, a nice
With and it's looking out at you, so the petals are all pointing like it's going to grab you. And with this eye in the middle, and then the wave kind of has the way the water is falling, it has this kind of claw shape to it, like a crab's claw.
and you Clem just goes, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh
So
no.
So this particular ship is not one of their big ones. It is a relatively small but fast ship of the type that they would use probably to send like messengers or that sort of thing
Right.
to places quickly, as opposed to carrying a lot of cargo or people. So,
So,
but yeah, it certainly it is.
all right. So that turns out that that's your person there, Clem. I take it.
Ah,
So here's something that's been on my mind as we've been discussing this. If we want to play the we've got someone you want card, that has to be from the beginning. If we go down there and they discover you, then we can't say, oh yes, and this person you just discovered is with us. We're actually here to. No, it's not going to work. So if you don't want to go, I don't blame you, and we will go forth without your help, and see what we can learn there on our own. Or you can come with us, but I'm not sure if the risk is as bad as you say. May not be worth it.
would that specific captain be here, do you think?
Oh,
Looks that way.
Oh
Well-
no, she's not a captain. Oh, she's not a captain at all. She has multiple captains in her purview, but she is not a captain at all.
Yeah. So I think Clem, you suspect that this ship would be you know, a representative, sure. Unlikely to be any of the VIPs, but rather, someone perhaps sent to look for you.
How about if you're wanting to play that card, I go back to our camp and I'll wait. I have a spyglass that I could use from the camp to look at the ship if you wanted to do it. And if things go well, but if they go wrong, I won't be anywhere nearby.
I think that's prudent.
A spyglass seems like the sort of thing that you could mark depletion to have.
Oh yes, I'm sure it's down in my in here somewhere. I've got all still cleaning up after my fall earlier.
Everything's
Oh.
off of its hooks. The drawers all fell out. It was terrible.
Yeah, that's what must have caused the explosion.
This is beginning to remind me of Snoopy's doghouse.
Into the idea. Well, yeah,
All right. Well, if you want to wait back here, or go back to the camp or what have you, that's fine.
I will say,
Let's go see what we can learn down there.
if you go
Yeah.
you go to that ship won't necessarily be one that is a captain setting up trade here, but there's influence there, lots of it.
Okay. Well, that's got some promise.
All right there, Peppa.
And literally Clem is like, but you good luck, guys. And
Clem
Cloud of dust, hairpins.
Yeah, exactly.
Motion
makes a
lines.
personal land speed record and escape.
I'm reminded of
Yeah. Oh, he's got the jets that come up out of his shell.
No, okay. Here's
booster
what,
rockets.
here's what it is the camera pans back over and it's the cloud of dust shaped like Clem, but then as it gradually fades away, he's still there just going. Yeah.
mumbling something about I need to be in a cloak.
All right, so Clem is making himself scarce. The rest of you heading down to this little dock office building.
yes.
Yeah.
All right. So it's obvious to you pretty quickly this building is not designed for its current purpose, which is to have about 20 people trying to drink in it. But they're making do. There's a fair amount of people who have kind of spilled out onto the docks a little bit.
Barrels and crates being used as tables and chairs.
Yeah, but the mood though is not joyous. It's
Festive,
a little sullen. They are doing what they can, because the longhouse was closed, but otherwise they don't seem to be overly happy with all of that.
I'm gonna look around and see if I can figure out just from looking around who might be in charge.
Okay.
And I think what I want to use is the reputation move. Meet someone important,
Okay.
because then
Well,
I can.
I was certainly going to have y'all make that move when you meet the person. I don't think that you would necessarily use that move to figure it out.
Okay.
if
All
that
right.
makes
So you
sense.
want me to?
No.
Okay.
I won't. You don't need to make a move. I think you can
Okay.
just. I think you all can sort of stand back a little bit. It's clear that there's a couple of people that are kind of holding court a bit more than others.
Okay.
Yeah, and so
okay.
I think that there's at least, basically, I think the way you draw your conclusion is that there's one sort of like real actual table.
Right, and that's
And-
got the important people at it.
Yeah, the people who like actually like own the building and work there get to have the real table. Whereas everyone else is kind of spilling around. So what you see though at that particular table, and the person, I think that you would have at least heard you heard the name of from Donna, and I think you might have been aware of their existence previously in Iron Vein, is Connor Kester, who is an otter who works for the Riverfolk Company, and he was the
Right.
one in charge of trying to get the trading post built. And so you definitely spot him, and he's also got a couple of other denizens at the table with him. There's a fox and a duck, and I think probably, let's say, a badger.
Okay. Okay.
And they're just kind of having their own, relatively low conversation. They're nursing some beers compared to what everyone else has got, but
So I will saunter up to the table
mm-hmm.
and and uh, and bow elaborately. Can I have taken out my cloak before we got there? Would there be, because
Yeah,
I've got
I-
that signature cloak.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
Um,
I'm wearing that fancy embroidered cloak that's
Yeah.
that for the first time since we've arrived in town.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I've forgotten, did we ever establish a name for our group?
You haven't yet.
No.
Okay.
I think we're about to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Um,
So-
I think the bow is amused. They are amused and delighted within the realm of expression allowed to tough guys.
Yeah. So they're like
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
yeah. Some of the others are kind of like nodding to Connor, just like, oh look, yeah, look at that.
And Nigel has walked up behind him, but he doesn't bow. He's just, going through his notes and making sure he has everything.
do I have the honor of addressing the reputable Connor Kester?
So this is where you will make the reputation move. So
Yes.
this is for the four of you who are here. Your combined reputation scores. Let me just briefly. I think you are all
I
at
think
0 with
zero.
the Riverfolk Company.
Yeah. But I do have, my cloak has a move with on this inspect directly on this move.
Okay.
No, it's okay. Now it is in addition to being a signature cloak, it is also a friendly cloak, which means when I meet with someone important, mark exhaustion to roll your reputation +1.
Okay.
So I'm going to mark exhaustions to get that +1.
All right. Yeah. So you can all make your a roll. It's 2d6 +1.
All of us?
No, it's one. It's
Oh.
one roll, but it is
Yeah.
for all of you,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
like
Okay.
the travel moves.
I rolled a 9.
Okay, so on a 9, as we established previously, on a 9, you are picking one of the following two options, which is you've heard stories, you can ask a question about them, and the GM will tell you one story you've heard about them or their interests as an answer, or they've heard something in your favor. You can take +1 forward when you try to play up your connection with them and their faction.
I think I'm going to take the +1 forward.
Okay, right. So that's not something that happens right now, but
Right.
that is like if the next time you try to make a roll to maybe persuade them or do something like that.
Right.
All right. So they you do that whole elaborate introduction, and these guys are kind of like, all right, okay. Connor just kind of says, so tell me, what have I done to earn the privilege of such an august presence as yourself?
Well, we heard that you've had some troubles with the local underground, as we might say, and we're here to perhaps make your job a little easier. We want to make some trouble with them ourselves, and perhaps we can we can help each other.
So the duck that's at the table just kind of says, "Yeah, what? You gonna just poison all their food?" And the others kind of turn to him, and it's clear. I think you can all tell from the body language. Like, the duck is the one that kind of says things that everyone else is like, "Dude,
Oh.
cool it. Come on, man."
Yeah.
But at the same time, yeah. So they kind of give him a look like, just down a notch,
Yeah.
please, dude. But they're just like, well, we could certainly do with some assistance, given that the moles seem determined to drive us out, which is not good for business, as you might imagine.
Right. So my esteemed colleague here has, as a show of good faith, learned a few things about the moles in plans, intentions, and operations that would be of interest to you, we think.
Oh yeah.
Nigel, would you give them the précis of our what we've learned so far?
Nigel just steps up and says, "Yes, in my investigation, I discovered that some details on their plans, on the duchy's plans to economically drive out your company from here, and was it just here, or was it
It
everywhere
had to
I
do
else?
with the
mean-
trade with Kester Creek, but
Well, that was specifically what you were looking at. But like, I mean, the duchy, their long-term intentions are to conquer this whole region,
Oh,
and
so
to have the
yeah.
Riverfolk Company not be an issue. But that's long-term. Right now, they're trying to get them out of Iron Maiden.
all right, yes, the duchy's economic plans to remove your company from Iron Vein and probably eventually everywhere else.
They kind of look at each other, frowning, and Connor reaches out paw.
I'll give, I'll give my
The summary.
summary to him.
And he kind of looks at this and like, he's showing it to the others and just said, "Well, I mean, we could have guessed that they might be doing all this stuff, but like, where's this coming from? Like, what sort of like, where did you get this? Come by this information?"
I made a visit up to the Longhouse and told some less than truths about why I was there, and was given access to information that revealed this.
You just walked in there and you just said, well, less than truthful, I guess. Okay. So, yeah, we're interested. So, what do you want?
And I will turn to Lancelot and
well, we are right now we're in the process of gathering information and looking for vulnerabilities. Perhaps there's something you've learned about that you weren't able to take action on, perhaps because you were worried about retribution or what have you, that a gang of vagabonds who have no roots in the area would be better able to work on. Perhaps there's someplace more private we can talk.
Connor, this otter, kind of sits up and looks around this small one-room office that's obviously normally intended for like record keeping of the ships that are coming and going and trade,
Yeah.
just that sort of thing.
But there's a
And-
bunch of people
yeah,
around, right?
but it's like it's crowded right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where
Right.
like, so he's kind of like, I mean, I guess we could go outside That's about
Yeah,
all I can
let's-
offer you right now, unless you want to get on one of the ships.
Let's have a walk.
All right. And I think some of the other the the others there at the table start
yeah.
to get up, and he's just like, "Hey guys, you just stay here. I'll take care of this. This is what I'm here to do." All right.
And if it makes him less nervous, we can like
He
just be
does-
Nigel
he-
and myself.
Yeah,
you know.
he doesn't seem worried about you all.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
it's more that the others seem like they want to be involved in the negotiations, and he's kind of saying, let me do this." And I think that those of you who think your character is astute enough to notice this sort of thing, I think you notice that the duck has an idea. Like, as soon as you're talking about that, he's like, huh. And he's thinking, like, he's looking like he might want to say something, but he might be waiting to say it not in front of everybody else.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll kind of gesture in his direction with some of the other people in the party who aren't engaged right now.
Well, I mean,
But yeah, we will, or maybe we'll talk to him later. But yeah, I'm trying not to hog the spotlight here.
sure. Well, so here's the question then. So Connor Kester, this otter, is planning to take a walk with whoever's taking a walk with him. Is
Yep.
that
Okay.
everybody, or are some folks staying behind?
Nigel, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that Arben and Peppa might stay behind and talk to the duck.
Arbor wants to stay behind.
Okay.
Get a sense of these other people in any event. He's not exactly the talker of the party. That's
Mhm.
Lancelot.
The duck might not need a whole lot of talking to.
Yeah.
The duck might open up even to Arbin. So
All right. Well, so let's first follow Nigel and Lancelot and Connor a little bit. And he is walking along the the bank of the river a little ways out, getting a little. He's like, "So here's the thing. I think you we don't have to play coy about the idea that the information you're offering here, if it's legit, certainly would be of value to us. But you're asking me kind of a vague thing. So, like, opportunities for what? Like, I
Sabotage, misinformation, shenanigans. We're not. I mean, we're not a mercenary fighting force. We are troublemakers, and we're looking for the best place to make trouble to make their stay here as uncomfortable as possible.
Well, I'm not sure I have an awful lot of that to offer. I mean, like, if I knew that stuff.
You'd already have taken action.
Yeah, I mean, kind of where we're at is that we had a whole contract with the Council of Ironvein to build our trading post, but guess what? They don't get to say anymore, and now it's this
Right.
this formal who's saying no, they're going to build their own market, and we don't get to build our trading post anymore. And oh, by the way, this lot that you paid for, guess what? Doesn't belong to you anymore. And
Right.
they haven't officially said that we're not allowed to do business at all yet.
But that's probably coming.
We're certainly worried about that. That's for sure. And if he looks at the list here and is like, and it seems like what they're planning on doing is specifically trying to undercut our best sellers by flooding the market with their own Dutchy versions that they're going to sell at a loss for a while just to drive us out of business.
Well, that does seem like there's one of their standard procedures.
Well, yeah, like that's there's that really kind of puts us in a bind. We don't have a lot we can do about that unless we have the support of some of the other clearings to try to counter that. Because like as it is right now, they've tied us up with so much paperwork, we've had to raise our prices, and that of course doesn't make the people here in Iron Vein happy. It makes them mad at us, right?
Right, right. Yeah, well,
Now we've actually I've already had to try to put my foot down where I can, because we've got a lot of the skippers out here who are talking about smuggling, and look, I mean, between you and me, I mean, smuggling happens, right? Like, there's no stopping smuggling, like, as a rule. But here's the
Right.
thing. That's exactly the sort of thing that the Duchy might use as a pretext to kick us out of here permanent.
exactly. Yeah,
So,
that's,
I mean, smuggling might happen, but if it happens on my watch, I get fired. If you
Right.
follow me.
no, yeah, I see that. You're caught in a bind there, you know. You know, follow the rules and go drive out of business, and break the rules and get driven out of business.
Yeah.
So,
So that's
So-
kind of where I'm at right now. Now I have some fiscal resources, so to speak. I can pay you for this information, but I'm not sure I really have like, the secret weakness. The special button that you can go press and makes the Grand Duchy turn purple. I mean, I don't know.
yeah, well, we were
Perhaps-
thinking,
Perhaps we could target them in what seems to be one of their greatest weaknesses and strengths, the paperwork. If
well, we were,
I
yes.
could get some examples of the forms they use for your for the requests you have, I could craft some that are
Yeah.
that would
Well, see, but
Yeah,
you're also
constantly.
now you're talking some more about stuff you're going to do for me, which I'd appreciate for sure. But I guess what I'm asking is like, you're all just volunteering to give us this information? I mean, I assumed you're
yeah,
here to
you
sell.
want to know what's in it for us on this.
Well, right. Like, I mean, if you want to just give us the info, I mean, we will take it gladly.
Well, I do have to say, one thing that could be done, not for us, but maybe for one of the denizens of this clearing, is there's a particular musician that is out of work since the closing of the Longhouse.
Oh, that
And-
pretty sparrow girl? Yeah, she's great.
Yes. Yes, and well, she's having a hard time making ends meet, so and I know there was some discussion about perhaps her providing music lessons to others,
Well,
and
you
a
know,
sponsorship of that would.
I mean, that may
Hell.
be. Well, you know what? Sponsorship. I mean, look. If what you would like is for us to pay some coin to her instead of you, I mean, look, we operate on a cash and barter business here. I'm happy to do that. You just need to. What's the offer here?
Well, that was just something I was proposing.
Yeah, no, I
I
mean-
mean money.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, like, yeah. But the point is that if you want money, he can give you money. He can give Donna money.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I
I
mean,
think honestly, I've been looking through our depletion. Could, yeah, give us some supplies to recover some of that.
Well,
might help.
that he is waiting for you to make him an offer. Like, what do you want for the information?
He's
He's like, I'll be honest, I'm not used to having to drag a price out of people like this.
okay. I'm asking everybody else number.
well, I mean, I think that Nigel knows better the value of what he's got than David does.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think when you make an offer, you can make a persuade an NPC roll for that offer, and you have a +1 on it based on your meet someone new roll, right?
Yeah, we've got 6 levels of depletion. No, 8 levels of depletion in the party.
Mm-hmm.
So if we could get enough supplies to clear those, that's probably going to be.
Well, that'd be 8.
Yeah. Yeah, there's let's see. I was gonna find the place where the table where it kind of gives examples of what various values represent.
Yeah.
Do you have that page number handy?
No,
I'll look it
I don't
up
have
here.
the
I
rules
no,
open.
Dorian, I can get it. Um, let's see. It could be in a number of different places, but so if you want to say you want to have your opening offer be 8, yeah, I mean we would say, make a roll for that, right?
You want me to make it or you want me to make it?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and
I'm very
specifically,
excited.
you have,
Yeah.
you have an additional +1 for.
Yeah.
Right, I'll take that. I'll take that +1.
Mhm.
So what persuade an NPC? Okay.
Yeah, persuade an NPC is that's
All right.
a roll with charm.
All right. I rolled a 10 and I got a +3 on top of that. So it's a
Okay.
13.
Yeah. So he says, you know what? That is a little more than I was kind of expecting you to say, but I can't say it's not worth it. We have a deal.
All right. So
I mean, do you want
so-
this right now? I can arrange to have a coin for you, or if you want to trade for something, we've obviously got a lot of folks here with goods to sell that they're not selling as much as they would like. So if you want to,
So yeah,
Take
I
your,
was hoping to take it in trade.
sure,
Basically
Well,
clear everyone's depletion tracks.
that will make a lot of the other skippers just as happy. I mean, we're working on it, but yeah, people unloading some of the goods that they haven't been able to sell up in town like usual.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Great. So yeah, sounds like you'll all get 8 value worth of you can fill your depletion stuff.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, mine isn't depleted, but everybody
Yeah.
else's. So
mhm.
Yeah.
All right. So
Peppa especially.
yeah. So in the meantime, Arban and Peppa, as Connor leaves with Lancelot and Nigel, there is a little bit of these other characters sitting around here at the table. I'm
Yeah.
going to say that Arban, you notice that
Mhm.
the Badger does have a little lapel pin that matches the insignia on the ship that
On
Clem
the
was so
ship,
worried
yeah.
about.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Well, that's actually a conversational gambit in some ways. Maybe I'll let Peppa talk to the duck while I'll talk to the badger.
Yep.
So-
I am all for talking to the duck.
You can
Okay.
talk. You get duck. I get badger.
Okay.
So
Duck, duck,
yeah,
badger.
so I think though that as they all, as Nigel, Lancelot, and Connor leave, and you kind of stay behind, and they look up at you, and the duck just says, "So I guess we're the left behind crew, huh?"
Just to make things even.
We all have our different skills.
So vagabonds, huh?
Yeah.
You looking for work?
Could be. Could be. Looking for fun, most likely.
Wow.
But like you had a really good idea.
Well, I certainly have something that is both lucrative and fun, if you don't mind a little danger.
Well, the last time I did something that was not lucrative but kind of sort of fun, I got stabbed. So as long as minimal stabbing, you have my attention.
Okay, just so I'm clear, you want there to be stabbing or no?
I'm open to some stabbing,
Out of our group, I'm the
but
stab,
minimal.
not her.
I would prefer minimal stabbing.
Well, I think,
Stabbing tends to.
yeah.
Stabbing tends to interfere with my ability to fly.
You know what? I think my optimal vision of how this job would go would include 0 stabbing, but hey, I hate to tell people how to do their own work.
Okay, well, I'm on board with 0 stabbing.
The other the other two at this table are
With the badger and who else?
the badger, and there's a fox too, and they're giving this duck a look, just kind of like, what are you doing, man? And he's just he's blowing them off. He's like, no, shut up. I'm working here. And
The duck is Lancelot.
yeah.
I haven't really had a chance to do Peppa's more competitive, unnecessarily dramatic risks to
Now
show
you-
off.
Your chance.
So
You you hear on the wind. You got this.
He's a leaf on the wind.
yes.
Yeah. So I think eventually, as that conversation continues, the badger just says, he kind of stands up at the table and says, "Look, either this conversation goes into a more respectable direction, or I'm leaving." And the duck kind of looks up at him, and there's a moment where you watch him considering, maybe he should just leave, and I should stay here. You know what? Maybe this is something that should be in private. You don't need other people knowing my business. And so you see him sort of weighing those two things back and forth. Then he eventually just stands up and he looks over at you, Peppa, and says, so you want to get out of here and talk business?
Absolutely.
Leaves me with the fox and the badger.
So he'll excuse himself, and I think as he stands up, it's obvious he's more than a little drunk. Like, he's not plastered, but it's exactly that sort of thing where when you've had a couple of drinks sitting down and then you stand up and realize, oh, I am a little bit drunker than I realized I was.
I'm going to have to place my feet carefully.
Yes. He is coherent, but there was just a little bit of a wobble as he stood up quickly. And he's scooting his way through the crowd, leading you out, Peppa. In the meantime, though, as that happens, the badger looks to you, Arbon, and just says, "I wouldn't let your friend get involved with the likes of him if I were you."
I keep this party of ours from going too far off the rails. Fear not. But your he points to just your pin stands out. What is the significance of that? Is it a mark of service?
I am a representative of the LeBlanc Consortium.
The LeBlanc Consortium. I'm not familiar with the LeBlanc Consortium. Could you tell me more? I'll sit down. Also, judging, see how the fox is reacting to all this.
So I think as soon as you say, "Tell me more," the fox is just like, "All right, well, I'm out of here."
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna get this deep.
Yeah, well, so just in the sense of like, okay, yeah, the table that I sat down at has changed composition, and it is no longer the one that I want to be sitting at. He's heading out. So he gets up, and it's leaving just you and this badger sitting there, Arbon. Although immediately there's a couple of, "Are you using this chair?" And the chairs get pulled away for like.
Yeah.
So the badger just sits there, and there's a moment of looking you up and down, and just says, "What has you so far south?"
Bad troubles back in the Imperium.
Seems like that's mostly what they export up there.
The Imperium is many things. It will always be my home, but unfortunately, home can be a place where you must sometimes leave. One day I'll get to return, but not any day soon. And so I'm on the road. I find myself here with the others. It's a weird and strange tale how I met all four of them, but
Hmm. Well,
we are an odd bunch. We're all very different. but-
far be it from me to tell you your business, stranger, but to my mind, it seems that if you come from a place, you should stay there and see it through.
Um, I've served in many campaigns, and I know sometimes that to win a battle, you sometimes need to tactically withdraw.
Hmm. I find myself currently in the pursuit of someone who made a commitment and has run away from it.
A pursuit. You're a bounty hunter.
He gets a really sour look on his face. It's just
My apologies. You are employed by the LeBlanc Corporation, if I might consortium, if I might guess, to find an individual who has done the consortium wrong.
I am here to locate the individual and persuade them to return of their own volition to honor the commitment they made.
Well, as my compatriots are looking to make bargains, and I am a vagabond and I am not rich, it might be in my interest to keep an eye out for this individual. And if I were to spot this individual, I think I have he raises it, finger to his eye, a good eye for picking out people. If I should spot them, if they are here in Ironbane, that might be worth coin to you. So if I could find them, or even if I could bring them to you, perhaps.
Yes, he looks at you up and down, and yeah, I don't think you need a roll for this. He's listens to all that and says, "Yes, well," and he reaches into kind of this vest and pulls out a paper that it and unrolls it. It's not like a wanted poster, but it's a wanted poster except for not quite being officially a wanted poster, right?
Mhm.
It's a without being like a government saying this individual is wanted and here's the reward and everything. It is nonetheless, here is the person that we're looking for, and we might make it worth your while if you were to tell us where they are. That sort of
Okay.
and it is absolutely a drawing of Clem,
Oh God.
including
Yeah.
a sketch from the back showing his distinctive shell pattern.
I'll study. So it's a picture and it's a description of him, or is it just a picture?
Well, it's a picture. Well, I mean, like, it
Yeah.
doesn't need to
Like
be
two
also a
pictures.
description. It's a
Okay, I was
picture.
just curious,
Yeah.
like how long I could pour. Oh, I'll pour over the details of the picture. And I just trying to
Okay.
figure out how
Yeah.
to black it.
Um,
As I'm trying to commit this to memory.
he is watching
Even though
you
I don't-
carefully.
Oh,
So
boy.
here's the question: are you going
Mhm.
to try to pretend you don't know?
Yeah,
Clem? Okay.
I'm gonna pretend. I'm gonna try to pretend I don't know.
Okay. All right. So I think. Yeah, let's
This
go
could
ahead
be
and
bad.
yeah, I'm gonna have you go ahead and roll cunning to trick an NPC.
Alrighty. That would be an 8.
An 8. Okay, so I think
The
I'm
question
trying.
is, do
Yeah.
I know that he knows that I might know
Well,
something?
yeah. So I think that so in this case, the thing that you're trying to do is to not give away that you do recognize the person,
Mm-hmm.
right? You are trying to convey that you do not know who this is.
Right.
Okay, so in that case, I'm going to say, you know what? They just they they seem to deflate a little bit. Like the way you were talking, they were kind of
Yeah.
expecting that you might know who they were.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that you kind of got their hopes up, and now they believe you, and like they seem to lose some of that imperiousness a little bit, and just kind of well, if you see him.
The the shell pattern is most distinctive. I
Indeed.
so something to recognize the individual by. I'll return the document to. I expect my companions and I will be in town for some time. If you will be here, where might I reach you? Should I spot the turtle?
We will be in here for another couple of days trying to search the town. We may, if he is here, find him on our own. If we have, then of course there will be no
Right.
reward for you.
Of course not. But if I should find him before then, yeah,
Yes.
understood.
If you were to either bring him to us, that would be extremely valuable, or just information which leads to his recovery would also be worthwhile, I think.
I'll nod thoughtfully at this. I'll take one last look at the picture as if trying to commit it to memory again, so to make sure I absolutely know what I'm looking for. I'm trying to sell this, even though he's not quite buying me, but I'm going to try to sell as much as I can, and then give it
Yeah,
on.
I think you know what? I think I will retcon just a little bit. You're not sure. I think no, never mind. I don't need to retcon
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, he is. Yeah, I think he just believed you. You're saying that either you do know who they are, but you're not willing to say anything, or you don't, and he can't tell, and so it's fine. But yeah, he does not challenge you on any of that. Okay, so you kind of head out then.
Yeah, if everything's done, yeah, then I'll get some. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
say I'll give my goodbyes to the badger and get out to get some night air.
Yeah. So Peppa, the this duck has led you outside and offered you, to shake his wing, and says the name's Skipper Brickle, Tondrick Brickle.
Nice to meet you, Tondrick. Skipper Tondrick, if I may.
Oh yeah. So who might you be?
Well, in town, I'm Ornata Sissa. Wink, wink.
How exciting. Secret names. So, here's the deal, Ornata Sissa, in town. These moles are causing us all kinds of headache right now. They're making it very difficult to do the kind of business that we like to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it seems to us that some of the types of business we would like to do, maybe we need to just do it in ways that the moles don't know so much about. Right?
Possibly.
But because it's risky, we got to make it worth our while. And that means we bring out the good stuff. Now, we've got some buyers who are interested in a few of our quality metalwork items.
Mm-hmm.
Items that are very difficult to get permits for from the moles. And so, it just so happens right now that there's a lot of heat on us poor river folk skippers. But maybe if you and your crew could make a delivery for us, that's something we could arrange for you to have a cut for.
That sounds doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Possibly.
So, are we talking about just you? Or are we talking about your whole little crew?
Yeah.
Because, you sent your respectable folks off with the respectable folks.
Yes, I did indeed. and we left the last of the respectable folks behind.
Yeah.
But yeah, that might just be me.
Okay.
I
Well.
am something of a courier.
So.
And if it's not too heavy, I can fly.
Well, that's the trick, isn't it? Because it is a big old crate full of metalwork items. Now, that said, it gets delivered, we get the money. I'm not so worried about how many ways that profit splits. But, you know, I need to have some sort of confidence that you're going to be able to get the job done, if you follow me.
Of course. Of course. And of course, you know, I'm just me. Not all that strong. So moving a whole big crate by myself, probably not going to be possible. But if I can get one of the others to help me out, maybe we can see about doing that.
All right, well, how about this? If you feel like you can discuss that with some of your friends, come to some kind of an arrangement, think you want to take on the job, I'd say meet me back around here around lunchtime tomorrow, and I'll tell you where you can pick up the crate and who it ought to go to.
All right. I will definitely do that.
All right. Well, I hope to see you for lunch tomorrow. You
I
doing
hope so,
anything
too.
right now?
Hmm?
You doing anything else right now?
I might be getting up to some mischief later. So, unfortunately, I am going to have to take my leave, but it was lovely speaking to you.
All right, well, the name's Tondrick Brickle, and I'm not fickle. Come and see me tomorrow. And he turns and heads on back to the building. All right, and so I think that is well. So here's a question: would you all want to try to get into breaking into the Longhouse tonight? We're at 10:10, so it's maybe perhaps we are on the precipice of making that call, and we will find out how breaking into the Longhouse goes next week when we return for more Root, the role-playing game on so many levels.
And it really is next week this time.
Yes. All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.